I think we've all had the experience of needing to go to a doctor, wanting to go to a doctor, but yet it was nearly impossible to travel to a doctor's office. We have an answer. Mobile MD. Larry Weiss, you've been talking a little bit about Dr. Jesse Jenkins. Yep. Mobile MD is it's a new innovation. Yep. This is what you're about at Elder Advisors, is putting things together to make it easier for your clients.
It's what we do because, I tell people that, Elder Advisors, we have no competition. We are the competition. When I sit down with families, one of the biggest things I try to do is just help take the stress off the shoulders. And we're talking about in the prior segment, we're doing workshops tonight and tomorrow so they don't go broke in a nursing home. But the point of tonight and tomorrow often is we'll make ourselves available for a free consultation. And we sit down with those families, we'll get a better idea as to what's going on with their situation. If there's need of realtors, I'll refer them to Jeff Hurst, Remax Properties East. If there's appraisals, things like that, or certainly legal as Steve. A lot of times, if there's a medical issue, if it's home health, they need help with like senior helpers, Nancy Galloway. Well, that's non-medical. But now that I've crossed paths with Dr. Jesse, if there's a medical component, because a lot of times, home health cannot do that, I think that's something Jesse can do. So I'm thrilled to be able to add him to my referral source for a medical issue. So that's why I'm delighted to be able to have Dr. Jesse on the show today.
Dr. Jesse Jenkins, welcome in.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So Mobile MD. So I would think there's probably a lot of situations with your clients where maybe mom or dad can't travel to a doctor or it'd be very difficult. Tell them about Mobile MD and what you do, doctor.
Yeah, so that's a great point. A lot of the patients that I help out, they can't or don't want to be leaving their home right now during the pandemic, or they can't leave for other circumstances, and that's where I fit in. I am a 100% mobile primary care service practice, and I do only house calls, and it fits really well into the space that Elder Advisors serves. And I just want to say that what Larry does is his best asset, like you said, is being able to have answers or somebody that can give you the answers. And honestly, these conversations are difficult to have often for families because they don't want to accept the fact that maybe it's time for somebody to leave their home or be placed in a facility, or they just need that care to be in their home at a certain level. And I feel like that's where I can step in and help out.
So as a board-certified physician, any procedure that doesn't require surgery, is that safe to say that you can come and help them in their home?
Sure, yeah. Well, I like to explain it as full spectrum primary care. Anything that you would be able to get in your normal primary care office, I provide in the home.
Oh, right. Fantastic.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I was wondering, I asked you during the commercial break, was this COVID inspired? And you said, no, actually it was not, but it probably expedited things, right?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely. And I answered your question by saying that this is probably something that should have been done a long time ago. Everybody talks about the old days where the doctor used to make house calls, and I just figured about 3 or 4 years ago, why did we get away from that? And over time, it had this drive to really bring that aspect back, and it just so happened that COVID hit, and it turned out to be the perfect time to launch this.
Thank you. I could see, Larry, this speaks to you though, going answers. It's like, okay, mom or dad needs to be assessed. You can't get them there. They're not comfortable. It's all working out.
And when Dr. Jesse was talking, my mind was already processing families that I'm thinking of, and also segue to Steve on the legal part. Sometimes we may need Dr. Jesse for things. But the other thing is when people come out tonight for the workshops, they can go to freeworkshop.com. We're at the Hilton Garden Inn tonight for good news, as Steve Langdon, the Elder Law Superstar, calls it, which it is good news. Tonight at 6 o'clock at the Hilton Garden Inn on Crittenden Drive, or tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn on Broadway off Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. It is good news. So we invite people from that workshop to come in for free private consultations, and we have Mr. Langdon there so he can go over things, and Steve always invites them to bring the legal documents in. But sometimes the meetings are only 5 minutes. Sometimes they're not the full hour. Or sometimes we need to schedule a follow-up. But sometimes the families will come in and we realize, well, there's nothing we can really do here. It's more of a legal thing, follow up with Steve. Or now I have the component of, you know what, maybe you need some help. Maybe Dr. Jesse is someone who can really help. Get this address, and then you can circle back to us, where before I didn't have that option.
It's just one less impediment. Yeah. Because again, it's so overwhelming to these folks. And part of that may be just the idea of getting to the doctor or going to Dr. Jesse can just show up and sit down with them in the comfort of their home and take care of them.
So, Dr. Jesse, I'm curious, for those maybe right now who do not need the help of elder advisors, but they need some medical care at home, how do they get a hold of you? Is it online? Do they
Sure.
just give your office a call? How does it work?
Absolutely. You can go to my website, which is www.mobilemdllc.com, or you can reach out to me by phone. Phone number is 502-482-8200. That comes directly to my cell phone. I answer all the phone calls, and it's about having access to the doctor. It's about having access when you need questions answered. You don't always have the time to wait 3 days for a call back.
All right. Elder advisors, this shows me that you guys continue to evolve.
Yeah, we do.
This is needed.
Absolutely.
With COVID, it's like, okay, mom and dad,
Absolutely.
we can't assess them because we can't get them to a doctor. Well, we'll bring you a doctor.
Absolutely, and that's really all of what Elder Advisors does is, obviously our mantra is don't go broke in a nursing home, so you can keep the assets so you don't go broke, but it's also taking the stress off the shoulders of the families. And, if I can't do it, well, then I'm going to find people that can, whether it's, Terry Graham at DMO Accounting, Jeff Hurst, Remax Properties East for Kentucky, Fancy Fulton for Indiana, Remax First, Certainly Legal, Steve Langdon, our elder law superstar attorney, and if there's now a medical component that goes above what home health care would be where they need a medical issue addressed, well, Dr. Jesse.
At least I know I do, and I know you do as well, Mr. Weiss. People first.
Yep.
Try to be a people person.
Right.
And Dr. Jesse, he's just right there in that mode, that mode of people first.
Yes. I'm curious. A lot of folks know that after you do your keynote speaking, there will be a Q&A, question and answer. People are wondering, though, and we get questions all the time.
Missed it. She's on the phone.
Will you sign autographs? Because people are wondering, will Steve Langdon maybe stick around and sign a few?
For the right price, I probably would. Not for you.
No.
You're dead to me.
Your phone just pinged. Your card at PNC is blocked, but I have access to the card, so don't worry about it.
Somebody said you're going to be auctioning off that suit tonight.
It is electrifying. I am a little disconcerting that you're jumping in on the Steve anti-Larry bandwagon. But it's okay.
It's too much fun,
I'm
Doc.
confident enough in my wardrobe, Doctor. Can you give me a script? Can you give me a script for this?
I did like the Tin
workshops.
Man.
Workshop tonight. Let's put up the information.
Freeworkshop.com.
Tomorrow, invite them, Larry, because here we go. There's the
Don't go
information.
broke in a nursing home because you don't have to, Kentucky. And at freeworkshop.com, that is a prescription-free workshop. Freeworkshop.com tonight, 6 o'clock.
And tomorrow.
Hilton Garden Inn tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville. Don't go broke in a nursing home. You don't have to. Freeworkshop.com. It answers all of your questions.
We'll be right back on Wave 3.